गुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधनाथ स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमाचार्यपदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायिने गौरकथा धामदाय नगरग्रष्टाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। आराध्य भगवान् व्रजेश तन्धाम वृन्दावनम्। रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधू वर्गेण वा कल्पिता। श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेमपुमार्थो महान्। श्रीचैतन्य महाप्रभुर्मतमिदम् तत्र धाराना परः। अनार्पितचरिं चिरात् करुणायवतीर्ण कलौ समर्पयितुम् उन्नतोज्ज्वलरसां स्वभक्ति श्रियाम्। हरिपुरट सुन्दराद्युति कदम्ब सन्दीपिता सदा हृदय कन्दरे स्फुरतु वासची नन्दनः। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। Hare Krishna. We welcome all of our YouTube live listeners, our listeners over Facebook Live, and our listeners over Zoom. Thank you all so much for joining us today in this session. Before we proceed, we would like to announce and congratulate participants of the quiz session from day 11. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Flavier, Nutan Purohit Mataji, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, and Ranjani Gopika Mataji. Thank you all so much. And we really want to encourage devotees to please take some time out and participate in the quiz. So, it would give us an opportunity to serve you also. Today, we beg for your forgiveness that Prabhu is not here with us, that Prabhu is actually, he got pulled into his work. He has some emergency at his work that he had to take care of. So we apologize. And, we all are missing him very dearly. So you all will have to, make do with just me today. And we look forward to Prabhu's association soon. So today we will continue. Last session we had the glorious appearance of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu appeared in Sri Navadvip Dham. So today we will continue from there, where we will quote. And if you remember that we had said that we are going to have combinations now from this point of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita session, the Gauramrita sessions that we are doing. We are combining from 3 different books of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is our base, and we are taking reference also from Sri Chaitanya Mangala by Srila Lochan Das Thakur and from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata from Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. So Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Mangala, these 2 books, they talk about the Leelas of Lord Chaitanya in detail, the Navadvip Leela, the Leela before Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas. So, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has covered all of these, intricate details of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's childhood, youthful pastimes, very, very briefly. He's just mentioned them. So, in order to dive deep into that nectar, we will refer to Chaitanya Bhagavata and we will refer to Chaitanya Mangal so that we can get the complete nectar of Sri Gauramrita, of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, in his Chaitanya Bhagavata, he writes that even before the Lord made his appearance, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu propagated and, he inspired the people to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You see, Lord Chaitanya, as we may recollect, he had appeared on the full moon night in the month of Falgun in the year 1486. So at that time, when there was this lunar eclipse, that time streams of thousands upon thousands of people went to bathe in the Ganges. And at that time, because of the eclipse, all the way people were chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. They were chanting the holy names. They were just saying Hari Hari, Hari Hari. And everywhere we could hear the tumultuous sound of the holy names of Krishna. So the way this, the transcendental sound vibration was filling the entire creation, it is said, and the demigods were showering flowers, the demigods were sounding their conch shell, their bugles, they were ringing, auspicious sounds were coming from all directions. And in such an auspicious time, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he made his divine appearance. It is said that Sri Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, when they would glance at the beautiful moon-like face of their beautiful child, they would be overcome with boundless joy. Ladies of Sri Navadvip Dham, they would stand around the child, not knowing what to do, because they would be so mesmerized just by looking at the beauty of Gauranga's beautiful moon-like face. They would just ululate. You know what is ululation? Ululation is a sound which is done by the ladies to ward off all inauspiciousness, it is said. And especially it is prevalent in Bengal. So as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada said that all ladies must know how to make this ululation, making the ululu sound. This is how it is done. Even in Braj, they make this, the ululation. So this is how the ladies would do when they would come to see Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya would, sometimes cry, and to make him happy, they would not only just chant the Mahamantra, they would, clap their hands and chant Hari Hari, Hari Hari, like that. And then Lord Nimai would, immediately smile. And some of the ladies at that time, whenever Nimai would smile so beautifully, at that time, out of their happiness, that may the Lord smile not be, not be overcast by some evil eye. Nazar na lage. It's beautiful, the smile, this beautiful smile of the Lord should not be cast any kind of evil eye. They would ululate. This is how they would do it. Like that. So it's done 3 times. So here it goes. So like this, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, whenever they would see anything auspicious in Gauranga Mahaprabhu, they would ululate and they would ward away all kinds of inauspiciousness. So it is said that beautiful, all kinds of relatives of Sri Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata's side, all of them, they would come to see the beautiful newborn child. And at the home of Jagannath Mishra, every day, because of this, every day was a celebration. So many, the Navadvipvasis, so many of the relatives, everyone would come to see Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. In Sri Chaitanya Mangala, Srila Lochandas Thakur very beautifully, Lochandas Thakur, he has some very beautiful poetic ability. And therefore in Chaitanya Mangala, we will notice very vivid descriptions of the exquisite beauty of the golden baby Nimai. So let's see what Chaitanya Mangala Srila Lochan Das Thakur says. So as baby Nimai grew day by day, Lochan Das Thakur writes, the bliss of the residents of Nadia also increased day after day. They totally forgot the passage of time. The houses overflowed with joy, not only the men and women, but even the young, the old, and the blind. Even the blind became intoxicated with boundless happiness due to their love for little Nimai. Nimai's face, his beautiful moon-like face, was more beautiful than the autumn moon. The gopis of Sri Brajadham, they describe Krishna as, Krishna's lotus face to be as beautiful as the autumn moon. Because the autumn moon, the moon which rises in the autumn season is said to be in its glory. Because when it is winter time or when it is very much in the summertime, the moon gets a little affected by the climate. But the autumn season is so perfect that the moon has, a second layer that can be seen around it, a halo that is emanating from it. So therefore, this autumn moon is said to be exquisitely beautiful, so beautiful. So the gopis in their Gopi Gita, they're saying, Sharadudashaye Sadhu Jatasa Sharasi Jodara Shri Mushadrisha Suratanathate Ashokadasika Varadaniknato Neha Kimbadha. The gopis, they're remembering Krishna, the beauty of his autumn-like, moon-like face, the moon that rises in the autumn season, so cooling, so refreshing. And the gopis are submitting themselves to be Krishna's Ashulka Dasika. Shulka means some value, some price. Ashulka means without any price. They're first of all submitting themselves to be Krishna's dasis, his maidservants. So maidservants are given certain wages, generally. And the gopis are saying that Krishna, we are your Ashulka dasi. We do not want any wage. We are your wageless, we are your wageless maidservants. This is how the gopis of Vrindavan are submitting themselves to Krishna and glorifying the beauty of Krishna's moon-like face. And at that time, this is the reason why Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that's why he says, Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa 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 Nudas. That, of these Vrajavadhus, these gopis of Vrindavan, there is no other personality's devotion that can ever compare to the love of the gopis. And therefore, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is saying that we must just aspire, simply aspire to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of these Brajavadhus. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayor Dhasa Dhasa Dhasa. So, Nimai's golden face. Lochan Das Thakur is continuing that Nimai's golden face was more beautiful than the moon in the autumn season. Nimai looked like Cupid personified, Kamadeva personified. So, renouncing their domestic duties, the young girls and the elderly women of Nadia, they would run minimum 3 times a day. They would go to the home of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi just to see their darling little Nimai. They would compete with each other. That let me pick up Nimai. Let Nimai come in my lap for one time. Let me see. So this was the eagerness that the Navadvip Vasis, the people of Nadia, they had this kind of eagerness to just, carry the Lord in their lap, to carry the Lord and put him, play around with him and just go and see him. So please, placing little Nimai on their laps, they felt completely satisfied. In Nimai's association, the girls felt an indescribable amount of bliss that increased day after day, not just day after day, but even moment after moment. They would just feel so, incessantly attracted to Sri little Nimai. So Lochan Das Thakur continues to say that I cannot find anything. I said that Lord, Nimai's lotus face just looks like the autumn moon. But he says later that I can't find anything to compare the beautiful body of the little golden child Nimai. But yet I just am trying. And Lochan Das Thakur says that even blind men would run madly to see the ever expanding beauty of Nimai's moonlight face. There's something here to note, very significant, that it's not that Nimai would just have one kind of beauty. Nimai's beauty was always ever expanding. It was always increasing. That whenever you would see him, you would feel excessive love, extra love, which you feel that was increasing every time that we see him. It is said that the gentle half smile on his lotus face, on the lips of Nimai, it seemed like a dancing wave in the ocean of nectar, drowning in different rasas, in different mellows. The reddish eyes of Nimai flooded with joy. The beautiful black mascara in his lotus eyes, the kajal around his, lotus eyes, appeared like a dam which was holding back the ecstatic ocean of prema rushing from his lotus eyes. Just imagine this kind of description, that Nimai's eyes, are overflowing with the, of it's overflowing with prema, it's overflowing with love. And what is stopping that overflowing of love is this black mascara. How beautiful is this description? The most fortunate Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra, they would simply just look at Nimai and his beautiful moon-like face. And at one moment, Nimai would cry. The next moment, he would laugh, just like an ordinary child, just like an ordinary baby. Occasionally, he would sit on the lap of his mother, Sachimata, and he would just sit as if, just very cozily nestled in her bosom like that. And Sachimata would hold, sometimes, she would hold him by his ankles, like hold him upside down, it is said. She would hold him upside down and swing him to and fro, just a little bit, not all the time. But sometimes Sachimata would hold Nimai by the ankles and would swing him. And at that time, Lochan Das Thakur says that Nimai would appear like a golden creeper which was blowing in the wind when she would swing him like this, holding his ankles. So sometimes Nimai would open his eyes very widely, and and he would laugh, he would smile, and he would just give so much of sweet nectar to anyone who would come to see him. It is said that Nimai's little nose is shaped like the beak of the parrot, would fascinate everyone, and a healthy, brilliant glow radiates from his beautifully shaped cheeks. The lotus feet of baby Nimai, which are worshipped by Lakshmi Devi, which are worshipped by the goddess of fortune, are now being embraced by Mother Earth, by Bhumi Devi, by Prithvi Devi. So there is only one moon in the sky, Lochan Das Thakur says, but now it appears that there are 10 moons that are going around on the earth. Why? Why there is 10 moons? Because the cooling rays that emanate from the little tiny toenails of little Nimai are appearing like 10 moons, like that. So blind and sinful men also became fortunate by seeing these beautiful cooling rays. The king of Gaura's moon-like face reigns supreme over millions of moons. With his eyebrows curving like the bow of Cupid, he satisfies all desires. It is said that Kandarpa or Cupid, it is said that, his bow is, in the shape of a, Krishna's eyebrow is shaped like the bow of Cupid. And it is said that if anyone wants to get rid of their lusty desires in the heart, and lusty desires just doesn't mean attraction to the opposite gender, but it just means lusty desires, for material um, affiliations, for material commodities. Any affiliation, attraction to that is categorized as lusty desires. So if we want to get rid of our lusty desires, the only way that we can do that is that if we just move our eyes while we take darshan of the Lord, while we take darshan of Krishna, while we take darshan of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, if we move our eyes along the line of their eyebrows, it is said that the lusty desires within our heart are just, wiped away, they are washed away. That is the beauty of the eyebrows of Krishna and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Then Gauranga Mahaprabhu says, sorry, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says in text 6 of chapter 14, he says, বাল্য লীলায় আগে প্রভুর উত্থান শয়ন পিতা মাতায় দেখাইলা চিহ্ন চরণ. In his first childhood pastimes, the Supreme Lord Sri Nimai, he turned upside down while lying on his bed, just like an ordinary child. He would turn upside down. He would sometimes lie down on his stomach, not all the time. He would just, sometimes turn around like toddlers do, like babies do. And thus at that time, he showed his parents and everyone present, he showed the auspicious signs on his lotus feet, the auspicious marks that are on his lotus feet, which are the flag, the thunderbolt, the conch shell, the disc, and also the beautiful meena, which is a fish. Then again, Srila Lochandas Thakur continues in the Chaitanya Mangala. He talks about the beautiful name-giving ceremony, that how beautifully, this entire name-giving ceremony of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was so beautifully described that it says that after 6 months passed, that Jagannath Mishra arranged for the Namkarana ceremony or the name-giving ceremony for his beloved son Nimai. It is said that Jagannath Mishra that day decorated little Nimai. He decorated his son with golden bangles, with ankle bells, with waist bells, and a pearl necklace. The soles of the lotus feet of little Nimai were smeared with alta. Alta is this red dye which is put, and which is put on the lotus feet. I mean, women also put it, but Nimai would put this, Sachimata would put this on little Nimai. And today, on the day of the Namkarana, the name-giving ceremony, Jagannath Mishra, the blessed father of little Nimai, he dressed up little Nimai and he smeared the altar on the lotus feet, the baby, tiny lotus feet of Nimai. It is said that the crimson lips of Sri Nimai looked like the Bondhuli flower. Bondhuli flower is a very beautiful red color flower. And it is said that his eyes, his lotus eyes, resembled that of a pink lotus flower. All the parts of Nimai's transcendental body shone more brilliantly than lightning. His bodily effulgence was so intense that, sometimes that bodily effulgence would just blind people. So much was his effulgence that he was emanating. Then in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, he explains, he continues about the Namkarana, the name-giving ceremony of little Nimai. So it is said that Sri Nilambar Chakravarti, who was the famous astrologer and the father of Shachimata, the maternal grandfather of Nimai, he found esoteric and wonderful signs in every house of Nimai's astrological chart. Nilambar Chakravarti was astounded by Nimai's beauty, and he saw all signs of a divine personality. And he said that, there is a much awaited prophecy in Bengal, was that a king would be born in Bengal as the son of a Brahmana. So Srinilambar Chakravarti, he could deduce by looking at Nimai that that king is none other than little Nimai. And in the presence of everyone, Nilambar Chakravarti, the expert astrologer, he began explaining different signs which are there in Nimai's astrological chart. And he could, as he was going into the more details of the astrological chart of Nimai, he found similarities, and he was getting mind boggled that this chart is none other than, it can be none other than for the personality of Godhead, the supreme personality of Godhead. He was just completely astounded looking at the astrological chart of baby Nimai. So then, in that in that namkarana ceremony, it is said, in this name giving ceremony, there were many devatas, many demigods who had disguised themselves as brahmanas, and they were visiting the Lord to just pay their respects to the Lord. So one of those brahmanas, he said that this child is actually the supreme Lord Narayan himself. He will establish the essence of all religion. He will initiate a wonderful preaching movement, and he will deliver the whole world. He will give everyone that which is forever desired by Lord Brahma, by Lord Shiva, or even Srila Shukadev Goswami. Some other brahmanas said that upon seeing him, people will feel compassion for all living entities and become callous towards material pain and joy. They will give up just by looking at Nimai. People will just give up they'll just lose interest in all material activities. There will be the great benediction for the entire world. Not to mention ordinary men, but um, even hardcore atheists will worship this baby's lotus feet. He will be glorified throughout the entire creation, and people from the other orders of life will come to worship him. He is the personification of pure religion, eternal religion, the Shashwat religion, they said. And he is the benefactor of the Brahmanas, the cows, and the devotees, and the affectionate, devoted son of his parents. They, in fact, quoted the pranam mantra of Krishna, which is Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Shri Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. That Krishna is the benefactor of the cows and the Brahmanas, and he is worshipable by the entire creation. Then another Brahmana said, who can explain the import of this child's exalted astrological chart and the esoteric symptoms that this child has? My dear Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, you both are extremely fortunate, and we give you all blessings that may you raise this child in a wonderful way. And may you dive into the nectar when you are raising your beautiful child. May you just dive into the nectar of his transcendental beauty. So all the devatas who had come, they had come disguised as brahmanas. So they offered their blessings to Jagannath Mishra and to Sachimata, but they came and touched the lotus feet of Nimai. They were offering obeisances to little Nimai. And Jagannath Mishra's father-in-law, Nilambar Chakravarti, he said that I feel so fortunate that I have been given this role that I could calculate the astrological chart of this baby Nimai. So he said that I feel greatly fortunate that I could calculate his astrological chart. And because he has appeared in this beautiful town of Navadvip, he is going to be called as Navadvip Chandra, which means the moon of Navadvip, the darling moon of Navadvip, and he is spiritual bliss personified. One of the Brahmanas who was glorifying Lord Chaitanya, little Nimai, talking about his future predictions that, Nimai will do this, he will spread the names of God and he will preach the holy names, he will do all of this. Who was saying that, one of those Brahmanas, they actually did not speak one thing. They refrained themselves from speaking the fact that Lord Chaitanya, Nimai, would be actually taking sannyas at the age of 24. It was there in his astrological chart, but the Brahmanas present, even including Nilambar Chakravarti, did not want to reveal that to Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata because they thought that that would hurt Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, that knowing that their son would leave as a sannyasi, it would hurt the feelings of the parents. So they refrained themselves to not disturb the loving emotions of Jagannath Mishra and Srimati Sachi Devi. So Jagannath Mishra was enthralled with ecstasy, hearing the descriptions about his son, and he immediately gave in charity lots of gifts to the Brahmanas. It is said that even the demigoddesses, the Devata, the exalted heavenly ladies from the higher planetary systems, they also came disguised as Brahmanis, as the wives of Brahmanas. And they came, it is said that the mother of the demigods, Aditi, she came and she smiled upon looking at the golden child, and she placed her right hand over, you know, Nimai's head and took some durva grass and some paddy and blessed. It is like taking some akshata. Generally, we take some yellow rice rice mixed with turmeric, and we put that as a blessing. In Bengal, it is also added with some paddy, some durva grass, grass which is very, very soft grass that is added on. And so Aditi, who was disguised as this beautiful lady, Brahmana lady, she came and she blessed the child, saying that may you have a wonderfully long life. And after blessing the child, she touched Nimai's lotus feet and put it upon her head. Srimati Sachi Mata and the other ladies of Nadia, they noticed the extraordinary beauty of these beautiful ladies. They had never seen them before. All these beautiful Brahmana ladies, they had not seen them before. And they were just immediately so astounded that who are these ladies? That they hesitated to ask that who are you and what is your identity? They hesitated to ask because they looked so gentle, they looked so royal, and they looked so devotional that they did not feel uh, threatened by these ladies, and therefore they didn't even ask that what is your identity, but they could identify that these are not ordinary ladies. It is said that the demigods also, who were disguised, they respectfully took the dust from the lotus feet of Sachi Mata upon their head, and she lost her speech, because she was surprised that who are these unknown people who are coming and touching my feet, because little Nimai was actually on the lap of Shachimata. Nimai was on her lap, and when the demigods were dressed as Brahmanas, they were coming and offering their blessings, they were touching Nimai's lotus feet. They were also just, why were they touching the lotus feet of Sachimata? Because they were so, moved by seeing the good fortune. What a great fortune of Sachimata that she is carrying the Supreme Personality of Godhead in her lap. So that is why, considering her great fortune, the demigods were touching the lotus feet of Sachimata and taking the dust of her lotus feet upon their head. And Sachimata was completely confused that who are all these unknown people who are coming and taking the dust of my lotus feet like this? And she was, she couldn't even say anything. Like so many people just coming in a line and touching her feet, touching Nimai's feet, giving blessings. She was just astounded that there was so much celebration going on in the home of Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata. It is said that neither the Vedas nor even Ananta Shesha could describe the waves of jubilation that drowned the ecstasy and the bliss that Sri Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata were feeling, and that how much ecstasy was there even in the home of Jagannath Mishra. Ananta Shesh was not able to describe that. That is the kind of ecstasy, and that was like the center of attraction, the center of the activities of the entire universe was there in the home of Jagannath Mishra, when the entire creation had come to offer their respects to this beautiful golden child, Sri Nimai Gaurasundara. It is said that they were all loudly chanting the holy names of the Lord, and everyone, they were celebrating the auspicious appearance and the name giving ceremony of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. It is said that during this ceremony, the golden child Nimai was given the name Vishwambhara. Vishwambhara means one who maintains the world. Vishwa Ambara means, Vishwa means the world, Ambara means maintainer. So the maintainer of the entire world, the maintainer of the entire creation. And this name was given to Nimai by Sri Nilambar Chakravarti. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in text 19. He says, সর্বলোকেরা করিবে ইহন ধারণ পোষণ বিশ্বরূপ বিশ্বম্ভর নাম ইহার এই তা কারণ. Nilambar Chakravarti says that in the future this child will protect and maintain all the world. For this reason he must be called as Vishwambhar. Jai Shri Vishwambhar Nimai ki jai. So Srila Lochan Das Thakur, he describes, today we'll conclude our session by seeing how Shachimata would put little Nimai to sleep every day. It is said that Sachimata every single day, she would actually, look at the moon. She would make Nimai look at the moon and she would say, "Hey Chand, Isho, Isho," she would call the moon. Means, "Oh moon, come, come, come down so that I can offer you as a beautiful locket and as a beautiful design. As a locket, I will put you on the neck of my little darling Nimai, and as a nice little symbol, I will put you as the tilak on his forehead." So like this, Sachimata would, keep Nimai on her lap, and while putting him to sleep, she would call the moon, "Come, come, come, my dear moon, come. I will use you in these two ways. That one will be the locket and the other will be the symbol. So come, my dear moon, let me engage you in the sun, in the service of my beautiful baby Nimai." And then she would tell Nimai, "My dear darling Nimai, my beautiful golden boy," she would tell in Bengali, "Amar Shonar Shona." Shona means golden, golden child. "Please, Nimai, don't cry. Don't cry. Please go to sleep." But actually, your crying also, Sachimata would say, that your crying also pleases me more than any other sound in this entire creation. Sachimata would say, your crying also is so sweet, my dear Nimai. How do you cry so sweetly, Nimai? So now you stop crying, okay? Now you come and sleep. Look, look, the moon is also coming. He's going to come and he will come on your forehead. He will come and sit on as a locket on your chest. So sleep, sleep nicely." Like this, she would put him to sleep. And then she would say, and Nimai would still keep, looking at her. He would not close his eyes. And then she would say, "Look, look, Nimai, Baba esheche." Baba esheche means your father has come. And look what he has brought. He has brought, champakola. Champakola means these small bananas, in Bengal. There's this very small, sweet, yellow color bananas. Very small they are. They are sometimes called elaichi bananas, small bananas. They're very, very sweet. So that's very famous in Nadia, West Bengal. It's very, very famous. So Jagannath Mishra, every night it is said that to, just little bit put it on Nimai's tongue, he would bring a mixture of kheer, condensed milk, and he would bring this chapakola, this, golden bananas. He would bring small, small, sweet bananas. So then Sachimata, when Nimai would not even close his eyes, so Sachimata would say, okay, the moon is not putting you to sleep, Nimai. Look who has come. Your Baba has come. Your father has come. And what has he brought with him? He has brought chapakola and kheer for you. So then Sachimata would take, the banana. She would just make it a little bit of a paste and she would put it on the tongue of Nimai. And then she would take the kheer and she would just put it on the tongue of Nimai. And Nimai would go, so nice. And then with that, Nimai would nicely, and Sachimata would keep patting him, patting him. And then she would say, oh, my dear little darling little Shona, you please close your eyes and now you go to sleep. Your face, Sachimata would say this, that your lotus face is, it is like a golden lotus, my dear Nimai. And your eyes, they appear like a pink lotus flower. And your half closed eyes, Nimai is like a half closed. He's not closing his eyes fully also because he's listening to what Sachimata is saying. So he's with his half closed eyes, Nimai is still listening, and she's saying, with your half closed eyes, they're looking like little bumblebees which are going around the golden lotus of your beautiful moonlight face. So these, your half closed eyes, they look like bees which are submerging in the honey contained in your sweet lotus like face. So Sachimata would, by saying this, she would continuously keep patting baby Nimai. She would hold him to her chest and, she would, nicely just pat him and she would say, sleep, sleep, my dear baby, sleep. And then it is said that Nimai would be, Sachimata would make very nice, with dry jute. It's made out of coconut fiber, all of that. She would have Nimai's little bed and she would cover it with the softest of cotton. It would be covered with soft cotton bedspreads. And then she would first, put him to sleep on her lap. And then when finally Nimai would close his beautiful lotus like eyes, and then she would, put her precious gem, precious golden child upon that soft bed. And then she would sleep right next to Nimai. She would also lie down and go to sleep. So this is a beautiful pastime of Sri Nimai's Namkaran ceremony, the name giving ceremony, the exquisite beauty of the golden child Sri Nimai. And let us now hear what Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says. What is the falastuti, or what is the benefit that one can get by listening to this pastime? That it is said, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says, that anyone who hears this pastime of little Nimai immediately gets love of God and becomes the eternal servitor of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He comes with the Lord each time the Lord advents in this material world. Jai Shri Shri Nimai Gaura Sundara ki Jai. Shri Vishwambhar ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So today we will end our session here. We will look forward to seeing all of you again tomorrow, but we'll open the lines for any questions or comments that you may have. Hare Krishna. Yes, Padmalochani, Tulasi.
Mataji, so I have a question and comment. So the comment is that I like the class and I like this pastime and I like that mother Sachimata used to tell. Sachimata used to tell that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you please sleep, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't sleep. And I like that, and I want to show you something.
Okay, baby. Wow.
That is Krishna, and I dressed him in this my.
Wow. He looks so beautiful. So beautiful. Now you'll put him also to sleep? When you
Yes.
sleep, yes? Very
Yes.
beautiful, Tulsi. Very beautiful, beta.
Thank you.
Thank you, bacha. Thank you. Hari bol. Garima.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhuji, Pranam.
Hare Krishna, baby. Hare Krishna, beta.
Now, I really loved your class a lot. Now, and the stories about Nimai. Now, I really loved the class a lot.
Thank
I
you,
have one
beta.
question that
Yes.
when Nimai goes to sleep, what blanket does he wear?
He would, Sachimata, Nimai, he would actually have a blanket that Sachimata herself would make, with cotton cloth, and she would put, nice cotton in between it, and she would stitch it. It is like nowadays how we have comforters, but Sachimata would make that on her own. And in Bengal, it's called as katha or katha, so that comforter, that's what Nimai would put. Little kathas she would make. And even when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas and went to Jagannath Puri, Sachimata, she had sent a katha, for Lord Chaitanya. So even today, if you go to Gambhira in Jagannath Puri, if you go there to Lord Chaitanya's room where Lord Chaitanya stayed in Kashi Mishra's home, you can see Lord Chaitanya's kamandalu, his water pot that is there. And in the cage, you can also see the blanket. This blanket, it's called this katha that Sachimata had made. It is actually kept stored over there in Gambhira.
Yes, Mataji, I understand. Thank you so much. I did
Thank you.
this nursing babe and colored it.
Ah, so nice. So nice, beta. Beautiful.
My
Thank
mom
you.
helped. My mom a little bit helped me in painting.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Send a picture, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kirti.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada, Guru
Hare
and Gauranga.
Hare
I really liked today's class, Mataji and Prabhuji, because there was a lot of pastimes of little Nimai. And I
Yes.
also liked that the pastime where Sachimata was putting little Nimai to bed. I really liked that pastime so much, Mataji and Mataji. I don't have any questions today, but I just wanted to say that the class was really nice with a lot of pastimes. So thank you, Mataji Prabhu. Sorry, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
But you don't worry. Say Prabhu also because, he is here, although he is upstairs with his work, but he is still with us. So thank you,
Hare,
beta.
thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kirti. So before we take any other callers, give me 1 minute till let me just make an announcement of the quiz questions for today. Um, Name some auspicious marks that were on the soles of baby Nimai's lotus feet. Second, who dressed up baby Nimai on his Namkarana ceremony? Third, who is the father of Mother Shachi and what did he observe in the birth chart of baby Nimai? Fourth, who came in the guise of Brahmanas and Brahmanis? How did Aditi, mother of the demigods, offer her blessings? Fifth, what would Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi offer to baby Nimai before putting him to sleep? Sixth, what is the falastuti that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur gives the listener of the Namkarana pastime of baby Nimai? Thank you so much for the wonderful questions, Divyangi. Thank you so much. Anjali, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Di.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Dandavat pranam to Prabhuji, to Bhaiya also. We really missed him.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. I
but
will.
it was so beautiful. The everything was so divine about the nectarian pastime of Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, actually, last class I was hearing it again, and it just there's a question. You had said that Sachi Mataji, she lost 8 children before
Yes,
Nimai
yes,
was born.
yes,
Same thing if you see Krishna had
yes.
Devki and Vasudev. This. So is there any connection, or it
I
is just
really tried to do a lot of research. I really tried to do a lot of research that, we know that who the six sons of Devaki and Vasudev were, and why they were killed and what happened with them. They were brought back by Krishna on the request of Mother Devaki. Um, but nothing is mentioned about who the daughters of Sachimata were, and they just, died out of sickness. It is just mentioned that at their birth, they just died out. They didn't even survive the birth, most of them. So 8 daughters before Vishwarup was born, and then the 10th child was Vishwambhar, Nimai. So, but nothing is mentioned who the 8 daughters were. But yes, there is a striking resemblance that, why, I mean, similarity that both
yeah,
Krishna
similarity.
and Sachimata's thing have. And it is also just that, that before the appearance of the Lord sends his special associates to clean up the womb or the resting place, of the Lord, that he will come and seek shelter of. And so that's why they also come. That is one of the reasons that is given by Yogamaya in Krishna Lila. That's why the 6 sons came, then Lord Balaram came, and then finally Krishna came as the 8th child. So some similar reasoning is given here also. But who those 8 children are, we don't know. Those 8 girls.
No, yeah, I just wanted the similar reason, 8 children before, and it so it was it was a quite a similarity which was
Yes.
coming to my mind. Ki what was the reason behind it? Like why 8 before?
Yeah, just to show that, the same Brajendra Nandana Jai Sachi Sutta Hoilo Shai, the same Brajendra Nandana Shri Krishna has now come as Sachi Sutta Shri Nimai. So similarity though will be there definitely,
Okay.
and we will see how Krishna was so naughty in his childhood, and we'll see how in this actually the childhood pastimes of Nimai and the youthful pastimes of Nimai will probably go on for this entire week and the next week also, because we want to really go into details. It could even go beyond that probably, but yeah, you'll see how the childhood pastimes, Nimai was so naughty, even worse than Krishna actually to some extent. So a lot of things are coming up.
Yeah, so we'll wait for all those beautiful pastimes. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari Prasad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Gauranga Nityananda. And thank you so much, Mataji. Today's session is so wonderful. And I liked your ululation. It is so nice. Yeah, in my native also, they will do this ululation in temple.
Oh,
So it was,
really?
yes, Mataji.
Wonderful, wonderful.
For any, they will offer blessings to, I mean, they will do puja for the god, right? That time they will do. It was so nice, Mataji. And Mataji, I have 2 questions. I'll ask one by one.
Yes.
The Nadia and Navdeep are same place, right, Mataji? The name is same, right?
Actually, Nadia is the district. Today, the district of Nadia, and Navadvip is the city. in today's, according to geographical positioning. So Nadia is the district. But in those days, Nadia, Navadvip was the same thing. Nadia, Navadvip, Mayapur, they are considered to be the same, like that.
Okay, Mataji. Next, I have why Mataji they have created a Palastuti for each one, like birth of Nimai Prabhu, and
Mm-hmm.
then after that childhood days. So
Mm-hmm.
in upcoming days also we are going to hear all the pastimes, right? So why
Yes.
they created separate Palastuti for that one? Is there any reason, Mataji?
Very good question. Very good question, Prabhu. The Falastuti is given because, we, of course, we need to know what happens when we hear the beautiful pastimes of the Lord, that the pastimes of the Lord are actually transcendental. And when we know it in our subconsciousness, that yes, reading about Krishna, or hearing about Krishna, his devotees, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, they're all very nice, yes. But at the same time, when it is reinforced that this is the result that you will get when you hear these transcendental pastimes of the Lord, then it inspires in our heart also that I want to listen with, again, with more, this listening to this, the result that we can get. I mean, imagine, this is the benediction that Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, that soul will come with the Lord every time the Lord comes to this material world. Such a benediction. So will we not hear this with rapt attention? Will we not hear it, that yes, if I hear to this, then my coming back with the Lord, I will be able to participate in the Lord's pastimes. The Lord will give me an opportunity to be a part of his pastimes. That inspires us to do more sincere service. That is the purpose of Falastuti, that it will inspire us to develop our deep attachment to Krishna, to Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah, fine,
So,
Mataji. Then I should offer humble obeisance to you for making us to hear and so inspiring us also. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
thank you. And this ululation, actually, when I was getting married, when we were getting married in 2001, I was in Mayapur. And from Mayapur, Prabhu at that time was in Bangalore. And so we were going to go to Bangalore. So Guru Maharaj, Lajayapataka Maharaj knew that. And one thing which he told me while he was giving us the blessing during the marriage, he said, because when he was giving us the blessing, with the same, with the durva grass and the paddy and everything, he actually blessed Prabhu and me and everyone. So at that time he said that, and all the ladies at that time, when they were ululating. So Jayapataka Maharaj told me that when you go to Bangalore, there in South India, not many ladies, they know how to ululate. So you can teach them how to ululate. So that was one instruction that he had given me. So I tried my best.
Hari Bol, Mataji. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
bro.
Mataji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shama, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my Danvat
Thank you,
Pranam.
ma'am.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, and my Danvat Pranam to Prabhuji also.
Thank you, Shama. Hari Bol.
Mataji, this is my question from yesterday's, means like last Thursday's class, Mataji. So in that class, you said that there is a tiger claw is owned by baby Nimai, and
Yes,
the same 3-4 claws are owned by Lord Narasimha also.
Nrsimhadev, yes.
And regarding this only, Mataji, like this is like tiger means an animal.
Yeah.
So when we see Lord pastimes in Bhagavatam also, not only in Bhagavatam, many rishis also, and like in the form of Naranarayan also, Lord wear the deer skin.
Yes.
And
Yes.
many rishis and yogis also use this deer skin during
Yes.
the meditation.
Yes.
So when we come to learn this, Mataji, there is some purpose why God is using all these products of animals. But nowadays, they are telling that we should not use the animal products,
Yes.
like the skin and anything like nails. So
Yes.
how should we understand, Mataji, like deer skin and like tiger claws when God is wearing this?
Okay. So we should understand why Naranarayan rishis, or the rishis from the previous ages, why they would wear the deer skin. Because in those days they would actually live in the forest. They would not get any clothes from Walmart or clothes from what we have from any departmental store. They would not have any kind of thing. They would just have plain loin cloths, which is just plain cotton clothes. They would just have that. And sometimes they would even wear, it is also mentioned, if you see, that they would sometimes even cover themselves with bark trees, trees, bark of the trees they would cover themselves up with. It is mentioned that not only deer skin, but and deer skin, it's not that they would kill the animal right away and they would skin this take the skin and wear that. No, when the deer would naturally die, they would take that skin, because these sages, they would live in the Himalayas, which is very, very cold areas. So they need protection. How would they protect themselves from the severe cold? They would do it in this way, by wearing this warm clothing, which would give them some kind of a shelter from to take care of themselves from this severe temperatures, cold temperatures like that. So, and also the tiger claw pendant, it is nowadays, of course, we know that we don't know how they acquire it, but animals are not, those days animals were not harmed for getting these products. Rather, they, whatever happens naturally, when the animals would leave their bodies naturally, these auspicious things would be taken, because deer skin and all that, they are actually, even if you see, there are yogis who would sit on tiger skin. They would sit on tiger skin and they would do meditation and things like that. So these things are considered to be auspicious, just like the conch shell that we blow. The conch shell that we blow is actually the bone. It is actually the bone of Shankhachuda. That's what it is made up of, conch shell. So it is a bone. So therefore, actually, you can't even ship it from, you can't do overseas shipment of, like normal post, it can't go by. Conch shell is not allowed because it is considered to be animal product. Similarly, even peacock feathers, you cannot, ship these kind of things because they are animal products. So, nonetheless, these things are considered to be auspicious. These articles are considered to be auspicious. But in those days, they were not gotten by harming those animals, as opposed to what we are doing these days. So these days, yes, sometimes we are harming the animals to, get these kind of articles. So they are getting harmed like that. So
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah, I got clarification. Mataji, I have one more question. Can I ask Mataji?
yes, please.
So Mataji, like Thursday's class and today's class, we see after baby Nimai or Lord Mahaprabhu born,
Mm,
we see so many like Brahma,
mm,
Shiva, and Indra,
mhm.
all the demigods and their wives came to bless him, and
Mhm.
not only blessing him, they are blessing with him long life.
Yes.
So when we see Mahaprabhu, he completed his Leela at the
Yeah.
age of 40 plus.
48. Yes.
So how can we understand their blessings, Mataji, also? And this just out of ignorance, because we can the demigods' blessings will not go wrong. So Mahaprabhu completed his Leela. So how can I understand, Mataji?
Lord Chaitanya, first of all, Krishna, that way he lived for 125 years. Yes. I mean, not Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita when he was 125, and then he left at a later age after that. So it is said that, the years of the Lord, that the Lord, that he stays in the material world, each of those moments is like an entire yuga. So in that sense, Lord Chaitanya is living with us still today. So the demigods, their blessing has not gone to waste, because as soon as we say Nimai, Jai Gauranga, he's there. Nimai is there. That is the potency of the Supreme Lord. So although the Lord has wound up his physical pastimes that we cannot see, but it is said that Lord Chaitanya resides in 4 places eternally. He is there whenever Lord Nityananda dances, whenever there is kirtan at Srivas Thakur's house, whenever the Sachi Mata cooks, and whenever you go to Raghav Pandit's house, Lord Chaitanya is eternally residing in Raghav Pandit's house. 4 out of these 2 out of these 4 places could be difficult to replicate, like Lord Nityananda's dance. No one can dance like Lord Nityananda. And the third one is Sachi Mata's cooking. How can anyone cook like Sachi Mata? So those 2 you can say, okay, that's difficult. But the other 2, they are still there. Srivas Angan is there, and Raghav Pandit's home in Panihati is there. So Lord Chaitanya is eternally residing in these 2 places. It is said like that. So when we go to these places, he's there.
So wonderful, Mataji. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you
Shama.
so
Very
much.
beautiful questions. And yes, Nutan Purohit Mataji, we are missing Prabhu and his kirtans today. So we apologize that we are not able to give any kirtans today because Prabhu is not here. But please forgive us for that. Any other questions? Okay, if not, we'll look forward to seeing all of you all tomorrow again into another wave of Lord Chaitanya's childhood pastimes. Please join us tomorrow for the second wave of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's childhood Leelas. Jai Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Sri Gauramrita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Shravana
Mataji, Hare
Pavanebhyo
Krishna.
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Thank you so much.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam
Mataji,
Mataji. Hare
Thank you so
Dandavat
much,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Mataji, for a
Mataji.
beautiful class.
Beautiful
Thank
class.
you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Dandavat
Mataji.
Pranam
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
Pranam.
Krishna.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
Mataji.
much. Jai Shri Radhe.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. We miss Prabhu.
Dhanyavad.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, we missed Prabhu. Yes. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank
Hare
you.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanyavad Pranam Mataji.
Beautiful
Hare
class. Today's class was so beautiful, so beautiful. I felt as if you are only Sachi Mata talking about your baby now.
Krishna.
So cute, so cute. I wrote in the chat also whatever I felt. Hare Krishna Mataji. I love you, I love you. Missing
Thank
Prabhuji
you.
today, huh? Missing Prabhuji today, huh?
Yes, yes. I will let him know.
I keep looking forward when morning will come and I will attend your class and you will come.
Thank you.
My
Thank you.
love.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, babies. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, beta.